What's up, you guys? Welcome to Fightful. It's February 4th, 2026. I am Sean Ross Sapp. It's Wednesday. It's time to hump. I guess you could say we're Fightful AH today. We're Fightful as Hump. That's how we're doing it.
It's AF.
It's, well, we do have
I
the
brought
host.
the AF to the hump.
What does AF stand for? What does that mean?
What do you think it stands for? I ask everybody.
Well, by the way, this is the lovely Gabby, who is
Thanks
the
for the
host
intro.
of Gabby AF, by the way. Just for the audio listeners of whom cannot see this apparent Seattle Seahawks fan in front of me.
I am.
But I think it means Gabby as friendly. Like, you're friendly. Ooh. You're a friendly person.
Interesting. I do get that's actually the most common guess is it's Gabby and friends. They think it is.
Okay.
It's a curse word in there. Are we allowed to curse on the hump?
Yeah, I don't care.
Yeah. So it's, you know what it is. It's
we do ad reads for dick pills. Like, we don't care.
Interesting.
Like, yeah.
This place, I gotta come around here more often, Sean.
not on today's show, but we do have a couple. We do have a couple. Well, we are pleased to have you here. Of course, we've talked about doing this for a while, and by that I mean, like, you just begged me to come on here. Like, you're like, Sean, please.
Yeah, got on my hands and knees. I don't do that very often, and I was like, please, the hump needs Gabby AF. I really do it for you, Sean, because I'm like, I feel like this is what you need. You talk about, you got a lot of masculine energy on this show.
It's me.
Dick pills, all that kind of stuff, and I'm
just
like,
exuding it.
I'm just a good person. I just want to help where I can. So I was like, I feel like Gabby AF could bring a sense of something different to the hump,
You sent me a selfie while you were doing Steve and Deanna's podcast, and you said, please get me on a real show.
I mean, first of all, do not shame Deanna and Steve on their show.
I love Stiana. I love Stiana. I love them.
Stiana on the Boots to Boots podcast. If you haven't listened, did you listen to it yet, Sean? Are you a friend?
Your episode? I have not.
Yeah, it just came out.
I will.
Okay. A lot of I get real deep on it. Talk a lot about my life.
Well, if there's one thing we do on the hump, it's get real deep. So let's go ahead and answer the super chats, humper chats from our lovely audience. If you are here, send a super chat. If you're watching on youtube.com/Fightful, but if you're watching on Twitch, Twitter, X, Facebook, any of the other platforms we have, you can send a humper chat at humperchats.com. That is hump like a camel, hump like the day Wednesday, and perhaps other recreational activities. But Dave Cost loves to hump, and he's talking about, right out of the gate, really, really set me up here. What did you think about Hangman's answers regarding Marty Scurll? I thought John Alva did a tremendous job following up and providing the platform. But Sean, I thought this was a big miss for Hanger, sadly. Continued. Not saying that he needs to say, I denounce this man and will never talk to him again, because to carry this friendship in the shadows for years now, that would be disingenuous. But he seems to resound the fact that this is my friend. If you feel differently about me, then so be it. It's a tough spot, and I assume it's been a tough couple days for Hanger. Thanks, guys. So I'm going to provide as much context as I humanly can. Yeah. Don't you just love being on this show, Gabby?
So, right out the gate, you guys are drama AF. Like, it's pretty insane.
So Marty Scurll has been effectively excommunicated from mainstream pro wrestling, as he admitted to. It's been years since I remember the specific allegations of which he confirmed, but I know it was engaging in sexual activity with a 16-year-old when he was much older. I believe she was intoxicated as well. He has popped up and done some stuff on Instagram, on YouTube. I have mentioned on numerous occasions, like, he's still got a lot of friends in pro wrestling. Everybody has not excommunicated him in that sense. He is not at AEW shows that I have ever heard. I haven't heard of him being backstage at WWE or TNA. I know New Japan thought about, they were going to use him at one point on a US show, and they didn't, or they decided against it. But a few weeks ago, Marty posted a picture when AEW was in Orlando, where every wrestler in the world lives at this point. And I had people immediately sending me that, and they were like, I bet Hangman didn't know that picture was going to come out. Right. And I said, well, If he doesn't want that picture to come out, one, don't take it. Two, don't hold that company. Don't keep that present company. I feel like there is some nuance to be had between, pardon me, this situation, as I don't want a person who has done what Marty Scurll says to be working around people of that age or influencing people of that situation. There is this world where a lot of people think that the only option for those people should be the welfare line, not working, or I don't know, being gone forever, death. That's not realistic. But I think it is very realistic to say that's madly fucked up. I don't think I should maintain a friendship with you. And as best I know, this friendship has continued throughout the years. Now, Gabby, we both work in wrestling. We have had people that we have known and previously liked that we find out have done some weird, messed up stuff. And I've personally not talked to them anymore. And that's just the decision that you make. How do you weigh something like that and really the situation that we see? Because what you say is very important and everybody's going to listen to you instead of me.
I don't know if that's true, but I think this is like the old adage of like, if someone does something bad, and we've seen this happen numerous times, the person stays friends and like, well, they never did that to me. They never did anything bad to me. And I think that's just a scapegoat and bullshit when it comes down to it. If you see someone who runs in your circle, who does things that you're friends with, do something that you condone or don't condone, or something that you would never want to do, that's a reflection of yourself and the people you surround yourself with. So just because they don't do it to you doesn't mean it's not wrong. And like, we've seen that in a lot of stuff happening in pro wrestling. He's not the only one who's done something terrible and kept friends around. It's on Hangman if he wants to remain friends with somebody like that. That's whatever is your prerogative. Like outside of wrestling, I don't know what their friendship's like behind closed doors. I don't know, how deep it is of a friendship that like, maybe he's like, this is one of my ride or die guys, I'm going to stand by him. That's fine. But then you need to deal with the consequences of pictures of you guys being out and doing all these things. You can't really, feel bad for the guy when, if your friend is out doing those things, the people you surround yourself with are a reflection of you. So you kind of have to be like, maybe don't put those pictures out, because also if I'm Marty, you know what you're doing. Like,
yes.
If you
he's looking for somebody to endorse him.
Right. And that to me is not a friend, because if I was in hot water with something, I would never do something like that, because now you're bringing your friends down with you. And that to me is an unfair thing. You screw up, that's fine. If you want to take accountability, apologize, whatever, it's your life. But when you are bringing down the negativity to your friends and the people standing by you by what you're doing, that's not a real friend. And I think, I don't know Hangman personally. I don't know him at all. I think he was just trying to do damage control in the sense that is his friend and whatever. But, I would take a look kind of deeper into that friendship if you're now having to defend yourself in hot water because of something your so-called friend did.
And also, I mean, I don't like that Hangman maintained that friendship, obviously, for any number of reasons, or the particular answer. I admire the fact that he went on Sports Illustrated and went to John Alba. And listen, if you're doing an interview with John Alba, John Alba's going to ask you about this. Like, for sure. Like, that is a journalist. Like, he is going to ask you specifically about this. And he did. And it wasn't like buried within a bunch of other stuff. That was the lead story from the interview. And I admire that he at least answered it, whether or not I like the answer. Hope it causes people to evaluate some things. Because, I mean, this isn't a situation where it's like, oh, my God, this person posted a controversial tweet and then later apologized. Like,
it's a little worse than that.
It's way worse. Way worse. And, I mean, I see active wrestlers, former wrestlers, going out there and doing interviews and taking money from guys that got caught trying to hook up with kids like regularly. And I'm just like, what? There's not a lot of shame. And I am certainly no arbiter of morality or anything like that. But I definitely want kids and women protected in the wrestling world.
Yeah. I think it's just you are like, you learn this when you're a little kid. You know, your parents teach you, like, you are the company you keep. Sometimes you get in trouble because your friends are doing things. So are they really your friends? That's kind of how I assess a lot of my relationships, especially in pro wrestling, because it's a slippery slope, especially being as a female like I am. There's a lot. I probably see different things than you quite possibly see or deal with. And it's just one of those things where if you don't protect yourself and the people you care about, it can easily, within like the snap of a finger, you're done. And cancel culture is a very real thing. So just got to be a little bit smarter about it and kind of know who you can trust or can't trust, because it wasn't a good look. And for Hangman Page, who is like the star that he is in the company that he is, it's just not a good look for him. So I just hope he, like, moving forward, maybe like learns from this situation a little bit.
Sure.
But I mean, we'll see. I'm glad he spoke about it and had the balls to talk about it too. Because some people just don't, and they ignore it and they're like, I don't care. You know, let cancel culture go on. But it's like, cancel culture is a very real thing, especially in this day and age. So you kind of have to be a little bit smarter about who you surround yourself with.
Dave Costas, sorry to start your show in a downer. I mean, it's a topic that we were going to discuss on tonight's AEW podcast anyway. Yeah. So glad that we talked about it here. Yeah. Dave Cost said, Gabby, had a chance to meet you quickly at Full Gear 22, and you were delightful. What's been your favorite experience since being in wrestling media? Wow, thank you for calling me delightful. Sean has never once referred to me as that word, so it's great. That's the new paywall. It's Delightful Select that we're starting. Oh, look at you with the play on words. I'm fucking hilarious, Gabby. All right, I feel like if you have to say you're hilarious, you're not, but sure, we'll go with it. But thank you so much. What's my favorite experience in wrestling media so far? Probably my first Royal Rumble that I got to like attend in person, because the Royal Rumble is my favorite show of the year. And it was cool to like actually be there and feel the emotion of like being in the arena of what's happening, because you kind of feel like you're part of it when you're there, as opposed to like when you're watching from home, even though the emotions fly. And then WrestleMania in Philly too was probably my favorite, because I did a live show at Xfinity Live right outside the arena. And then I ended up being able to be on the floor for WrestleMania. One of my favorite experiences was me and two other media members watching a wrestler definitely try to rizz you up at SummerSlam 2024. I don't remember as we were being taken to the press conference area, and somebody tapped me and they go, "Are you going to tell me who? Because I don't remember." I can tell you in the private chat for sure. I can. On the floor. Was that when we were transferring on the floor from SummerSlam? Yes, it was. I sent it to you. I know exactly who you're talking about. I saw. You know exactly who. Yeah, it was very evident that man was ready to change his entire life for Gabby AF at that moment. He wouldn't be the first, and he probably won't be the last, Sean. If we could talk those stories, which I can't, because I would probably get canceled. You want to talk about getting canceled? If I just shared those stories with people, it would shoot off. But it's well. That's amazing. I didn't even know you saw that, actually, which is even funnier. Oh, yeah, like three of us saw it. Yeah. We were like giggling about it. Oh, man. Sure. Being a girl is very hard. Yeah, I know. I couldn't imagine. He's sweet. We're friends. He's a sweetheart. He's very nice. He's not inappropriate. He's just funny. We got Tim Traver of the Diecast Collective. We sent a monster super chat. And I want to say thank you. If you guys are into diecast cars, he does a thing called the Diecast Collective. He says, Monday, February 9th and 23rd is my 23rd anniversary of being sober. Happy about my sobriety. Don't worry. I'll have fun. Watch wrestling. We're going to donate this money to a rehabilitation center to help out with other drugs and alcohol addiction. We will absolutely donate this to a rehabilitation center. Or we've got a great one like a few miles from my house here in Lexington that I will make sure that this money gets to, Tim Traver. Thank you so much. We will absolutely make this happen. I will send you a screenshot of the donation. And we appreciate you so much, Tim. I'm going to keep your crawl up here since you sent such a large donation. So we appreciate it. Congrats on your 23 years of sobriety. That's hard. Yeah. That's incredible. Good for you. Nelson says, is there a possibility David Finlay goes to WWE? So I had posted a story about this the other day. Like they had been in contact, but I don't know that a deal has been offered. Obviously, NXT loves its second generation wrestlers or third generation wrestlers or 14th generation wrestlers. Gabby, David Finlay has been an integral factor in New Japan, but his buddy Clark Connors popped up in AEW as well. So, I mean, I think there's a possibility.
I think anything's possible, honestly. I love when people ask that question, like, is it possible? Because I'm like, for sure, anything is possible. I think he's very good at what he does, so it would be kind of cool. And like you said, they love their second, third generation. You know, they're building like a stable with that. I feel like in NXT right now with the people they have when it comes to like Lexis King, Ariana Grace, and like all that kind of, which I love, by the way. So like, why the hell not? But I feel like AEW could also show some interest if they have his friend there. So hopefully we see him somewhere, but definitely a possibility. I think that would be pretty cool.
In that same vein, Bobby says, if AJ Styles hypothetically signs with AEW, how long would you sign him for? How would you introduce him? How would you choose his first and last match? Gabby, I always try to say I never try to assume the intentions or motivations of artists or rich people, because you don't know what it is that they want to do. Maybe AJ wants to wrestle in a high school gym again. Maybe he wants to wrestle in AEW. But to me, I would very specifically do at least 2 matches. Kenny Omega, because Kenny Omega is the person who kicked him out of the Bullet Club 10 years ago, and they never had that match. And the second match I would do is based off of one of my favorite matches of all time. There was Joe, Daniels, AJ. I would do that match, but I would have Samoa Joe, AJ Styles, and then as a conduit for Christopher Daniels, I would put Will Ospreay in there and sort of run that back like, oh gosh, 21 years later. I think those would be cool, but a short-term sort of deal, I think would make sense. What do you even think is in the future for AJ?
It's hard because, like you said, when you assume, you make an ass out of you and me. You know what I mean? And we don't know what he wants. Maybe he really is done and he is like, I'm tired. I don't want to be in the ring anymore. This is it for me. I selfishly am like, absolutely not. I want to continue to see him. I know he said 2026 is his last year. It's only February. We got a lot of months to go. So I kind of want to see him everywhere. I think it would be interesting. I love those matches you brought up in AEW, but I'd also love to see him in TNA and take on Frankie for a match because kind of teased it. Obviously, his history in TNA, like to go back there kind of historically is pretty amazing. You know, TNA obviously has that TV deal now and they're doing all these exciting things. They're kind of trying to climb up that totem pole. So like, why the hell not? Even if it's just for one match, just for like the symbolism of it, just because I think people would absolutely love it. But I would love to see those matches. And like I said, we don't know what the future holds for him, what he wants to do. But I think it would be pretty epic for him to kind of make his way across every company with matches that mean something to him, that can be something for himself to look back and be like, I crossed everything off that I wanted to do as a professional wrestler and give the fans what they want, but also for me to feel whole when I hang up my boots, like at the end of the day. So I think seeing him anywhere and everywhere is something that I would want. But like I said, I would love that match with Frankie and TNA 1000%. So hopefully we get there.
And it is funny because we've had like the Goldberg retirement and the John Cena retirement where they have seemed adamant that they will never wrestle again.
Right.
AJ Styles can do whatever he wants. Like if he decides he wants to wrestle 4 months into 2027, he can do that. If he wants to come back in 2028 and do a WrestleMania match, he can do that. Like
he didn't take his gloves off. He didn't take them off. He put him back on. So I think that was symbolic of him being like, I'm done, but I'm not done kind of thing.
Sure.
So
even if he took him off, took a shit on him and threw him into the crowd, like he could still come back. It doesn't matter. Like people, this is pro wrestling. Only of late have these retirements actually stuck. Otherwise,
I agree. Some people are like, they don't even think Cena's done. They're like, we'll see him back at some point. Because I do think that there's something, and like, I don't know this, I'm not a pro wrestler, but I think that there is something in all these guys that even years down the road, they're like, I got the itch. I want to do something. Like there's something in them that like they can't sit on the sidelines for so long because it's almost like, especially when it's good and they want to make it better. It's one of those things which I love because it just shows how much they love the business. But I don't count anything out anymore because I'm like, they shock me all the time.
You say that anything is possible. Well, Gabby, anything is possible with NordVPN.com/Fightful.
Yes.
And by anything, I mean watching Raw, SmackDown, NXT, and WWE PLEs with one Netflix account. Here's how you do it. You get one subscription to NordVPN. It works on all your devices. This phone, my desktop, my laptop right over there, my studio PC, the TV on the wall, the router over here, everything, Gabby.
Everything AF.
Nord AF is what it is. And you can go to nordvpn.com/Fightful for less than $3 a month. And you can change your virtual location. It helps during football season to watch out-of-market games. Certainly will help during baseball season, because every season, I don't know how to watch my favorite baseball team until the season starts. But thankfully, I got Nord. But with Nord, you get one Netflix subscription, and they are remarkably chill because they just want your subscription. They don't care where you're signing in from. Get that. You can head over there, see all the great features that they have, and it's got a 30-day money-back guarantee. So
it's a win-win.
If the Patriots put a spanking on the Seahawks, which I hope doesn't happen personally.
Nobody wants that to happen.
Personally, listen, you'll be able to at least feel better about yourself knowing you're saving a bunch of money with nordvpn.com/Fightful. We actually do have a Super Bowl related super chat. I thought, yeah, there we go. Meet Normus, our dude, says, actively rooting against the Pats. Go Hawks. Let's crank. I got to tell you the lore of Let's Crank because nobody ever knows.
Yes, please.
You know how it is. Sometimes you got to reach out to wrestlers for interviews, right?
Yeah.
Who is the wrestler in history of time that you would most expect to respond with, yeah, let's crank?
I don't know. There are so many that come to mind that could possibly say something like that.
Virgil, God rest his soul.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I love that.
So let's crank, and that's how we've been. He says, please tell me Brock will stay far away from Oba and Royce. Still mad about Kofi and Big E. So Brock came back and eliminated Oba.
While Jay was eating.
While Jay was yeeting his little brains out over there. How'd you feel about it?
Well, I had the reaction that most people had. Like, I kind of loved that, like, no one paid attention to it because Jay was eating. I was laughing my ass off because I was like, the yeets. Because you know how many people were so mad about it? And I was like, kind of trolled it because I was like, good for him. Like, yeeted 3 times back, and like we didn't see Brock hit him over. Whatever. I was laughing. But Oba, I would love to see that face off because I think Oba is going to be so over in that face off that, like, how can you not want it to happen? But only if Oba wins would I want to see that feud, because everybody hates Brock. You're going to make everybody love Oba more than they automatically already do. And I think for Royce Keys, aka, FKA Hobbs, my guy who I love so much, I think that there's other stories to be had when it comes to him, because we just saw him. I don't think just because he's a big guy, put him up against another big guy in Oba when the story is kind of there already with Brock and Oba. Let that play out. Let Oba become a big player by taking out someone like Brock and making him, and then have Royce be like, all right, well, now I want to step up to this guy, because they're both, even though we know who they are, to the WWE roster, they're new. They're both brand new. You know what I mean? Like, his debut was at the Rumble, Royce, and we just saw Oba show up. So I think there would have to be a lot of steam for that. And I think if you put Oba with Brock, you're making the shit out of him so big that now if Royce steps up, it's like, well, I just took out Brock. Like, you think you can take me now? That would be how I would play it out. What say you, Sean, Ross Sapp?
I want to see Oba beat Brock very handily at WrestleMania. Agreed. And establish him. Honestly, I wouldn't mind seeing Brock kind of wrap it up this year. I've seen all I need to see out of Brock.
Agreed.
But I wouldn't mind him putting over 3 people specifically on the way out. Oba Femi at WrestleMania, Braun Breaker, literally just on a big, gigantic Raw, because Brock wrestling on Raw would be a big deal. And then after that, I want to see Gunther come out and say, well, old man, time for you to go. And then at SummerSlam in Minneapolis, where Brock cut his teeth and came up and wrestled in college and all that, I would really love to see Gunther retire him at SummerSlam.
I would love that, by the way. How do you feel about Gunther? What's your thoughts on him? You love him?
I think he exudes realism. I think he exudes like top guy.
Yeah.
I think that this has really helped magnify his personality. And when you have been Intercontinental champ for a year and a half, NXT UK champ for a year and a half, world champ twice. There's not a lot else for you to do. So him literally ending careers, I think, is good. I think that leads to us seeing him and Randy very soon as well.
Oh, don't get me started on Randy Orton. You know how I feel. I love that you like Gunther because I just see so much people when Gunther retired Cena. How many people were like, Gunther was the wrong guy to do it? Like, he's not this guy. He's not this guy. But I think WWE is kind of like, well, he is, and we're going to make him this guy now with AJ. And like, if he does this to Brock and all these things, people want to say no to all these people. And they want to say they hated something or they disliked it. But WWE's booking him correctly to make him this killer. Everybody's like, we're not sold. How would you not get sold unless they continue booking him this way? So like, I love it because I think that they're really talking back in the sense of like, no, we're putting 1,000% into Gunther being the legend killer. And people, what do people want WWE to do if that's what they're trying to make him be? Just fizzle him out because you don't really believe that he will be? Like, absolutely not. This is what they're doing. This is the goal for him. And it's only getting stronger. When he trolled AJ at Raw coming out to the music, did you not pop huge? I popped huge.
It's great.
It was awesome. Like, how do you not hate someone more? Like, I think WWE answering back being like, no, you're going to hate Gunther and you're going to like it is why I love him as much as I do, because I think he's very easy to hate. And I think they're doing a great job making him this guy. So hell yeah, have him retire Brock. It would be fucking awesome.
And I love, like when he loses, you generally see him be like, you were the better man.
Yeah.
Shake your hand. And that's not a heel approach usually. So I like that it's different. But I see a lot of people say, oh, well, he's already 38. Why would they do that with him? What is there that he physically does now that he's not going to be able to do at 45, 46? So we're probably looking at least 6, 7 more years of full-time Gunther. When Brock beat The Undertaker, Brock was already part-time and was never going to be anything but part-time.
Right.
Gunther is going to be a full-time part of this show for years to come. And if you think if he wrestles till 45, which is incredibly common today, the bloodline angle didn't exist 6, 7 years ago, Gabby.
I knew I was going to say it.
Didn't exist. But you're going to have Gunther still doing his thing then. I think it's a great long-term play.
I agree. And I think the ageism thing is kind of bullshit because if you look at, listen, I think they need to think about it in real time because actually Nikki Bella just talked about this on one of her things about how the men's division kind of needs to harp a little bit more on making more stars because the women's division has those young girls that are kind of building up to that. And if you look at the men's division and those big names, they are all older, all of them. And I don't think that's a bad thing because if they can still go, who gives a shit? Like, let them go. Because some of them 10 years ago weren't even making waves like they are right now in their career. And it's happening organically and authentically. So I feel like if he's healthy and he's doing what he does as this older guy that you see, he's not going anywhere because he's just getting started. So I just think ageism is one of those things that we kind of have to put on the side for a little bit right now because it doesn't make sense that some people look better now than they did when they were in their 20s or their 30s. You know what I'm saying? Like, it just is what it is.
Which one of y'all clicked me says, will we see Jay White on TV anytime soon? I mean, if you see him on TV, I don't think he's going to be wrestling. When he and Will Ospreay did the Wrestle Kingdom thing, I had been told that Ospreay was probably closer to a return than Jay White is. It's unfortunate. The Bang Bang Gang has not been able to stay healthy together, but
I like that.
We got a couple of Gabby specific questions here.
Oh, I love those.
Gabby, will you be working on camera with TNA more?
I hope so. Stay tuned. I know they have a lot of shows coming up, so hopefully there is a spot for me available. I love TNA. I talk about it all the time. It's probably one of the best atmospheres that I've ever been a part of when it comes to like the locker room and the family. Like, everybody really cares about everybody there. And it's such a positive environment. I love everybody there. So yeah, fingers crossed you'll see me soon, but I would stay tuned because I think there's some possibilities for some things coming up. We got a whole year ahead of us. So it's exciting.
Joel Wood asks me, do you have any extra insight on the TNA source that believed AJ could have signed an extension before the Rumble? This is in relation to a story that I reported yesterday about what we know about AJ Styles. That source told me that they absolutely weren't bringing Gabby back, so take that for what it's worth. But
it answered the last question for me.
So that didn't actually happen. But back in the fall, when I was digging around about AJ's deal, someone told me, yeah, he's wrapping up by February. And then as this retirement angle approached, I was reminded of this story and I go, oh shit, damn. But a source in TNA that is usually privy to all the TNA information was like, I think he re-signed. Now, I don't know. What could that mean? It could mean that he's going to hang around and do coaching or producing or any number of things. But it is someone that generally has a lot of information on TNA. However, no source is ever 100%. So this is WWE based information. I wouldn't necessarily take that to the bank, but Blue Eagle. I hope so. I mean, I just want to see him wrestle selfishly. I've watched him wrestle since I was a child. So
he's the best.
We've got New Lack City says, hey guys, nice to see Gabby. Used to listen to Busted Open during the Gabby days. Just wanted to say, I wish Punk and Roman could put over their match without making Drew and his title look second rate. Well, first off, fuck Busted Open. No, I'm just kidding. But Dave LaGreca, fuck you.
You got problems. I love
How dare you? How dare you, Dave LaGreca?
Dave! I'm not saying it.
She told me to say it before we went on the air.
I don't know what he's talking about, Dave. It's not true.
Bring it, old man.
I would take Dave in a fight against you, by the way.
Would you?
Yeah.
Would you? I'm sorry. I would saw that man's legs apart with filthy calf kicks. Like, he really wouldn't stand a chance. And I love Dave LaGreca.
He's nuts, though. Like, the thing is
nuts. He is nuts.
He's a crazy human being, so like you never know what you could get.
He is like he would like gnaw through my throat. I do.
Right.
Feel like
he would like bite your ear off. He's like the Tyson.
Yeah.
He's crazy.
I love that guy. But the Punk and Roman thing. So they did do a lot of I beat Drew, you beat Drew, but
yeah.
I didn't think that Roman completely buried Drew because he did say the last time you faced Drew, he had you crying over a bracelet and he's 4 times your size.
Right.
I think it's okay to put yourself over and try to bury other people in promos. It's fake.
Yeah. No matter what happens, when you go into WrestleMania, I feel like there's always one match that you are looking at as higher than the other match. Like, no matter what happens. So it's like you can't really compare the two. I think what we saw Monday night between Roman and Punk, like, why would you not want to get that? Exactly what we got. And if that comes with you thinking they're putting down Drew and the other, whoever goes with him and whatever, like, that's just like a negative way of thinking. I don't think that way. I just think, holy shit, I cannot wait to see Roman Punk because it's going to be insanely epic. And like, yeah, Drew's going to have a match too. We don't know what's going to happen. It could be great. It's probably going to be great. I love Drew McIntyre. But you can't, you're not going to put Roman against Drew just to be like, well, let's balance out the matches. That's not how it works. When you have what you have with Roman and Punk, why would you not light that fire and go with it after what we saw on Monday night? It's not taking anything away from Drew. It's just revving up what we're going to see. When he said, like, I just fucking hate you, like, what else do you need to be like, I'm trying to sell tickets for the main event of WrestleMania? Like, let's go.
It was so good. Mr. Acosta says he's still thinking about it. I mean, ultimately, I love that. He was like, it could be because you're the biggest name. It could be because Netflix is the biggest show. I'm doing this because I hate you.
Yeah.
When Punk came in, this was a very real problem.
Right.
And all these, Drew didn't like him. Seth didn't like Punk. Roman didn't like Punk. These people, Owens didn't like Punk. I don't think Sammy liked Punk. And for CM Punk, he had made these enemies by just doing what he had always done. Right. And it's talking about his experiences and why he didn't like those experiences, but it affected other people. And he's come back. He's honestly been on best behavior, but people don't forget. I did a timeline video from Royal Rumble 2014 to 2024. And legitimately, the 2 best wrestling podcasts I've ever heard in my life were CM Punk on those Colt Cabana episodes. But also that was a nightmare for Roman Reigns because make Roman look strong was like a thing.
Right.
As this person brings up, I hope Roman makes Punk look strong. Ooh, I thought they did an incredible job.
And it's funny too, because for me, I'm like, Punk is always money on the mic. He's just always been that guy that can carry a promo. We've seen him do it with Cody. We've seen him do it with Seth. Like, he's just that guy. You don't always expect that from Roman. At least I don't. I love Roman Reigns, but Roman Reigns is a muscle to me. He's a leader. He's this person. I'm never going to be like, oh, I'm going to hear a promo that's going to keep me thinking about it all week from Roman Reigns. And that's exactly what happened on Monday. And it felt so real, his reasoning as to why he chose Punk, that I was like, oh shit, I love Roman Reigns. Like, Roman Reigns is going to bury Punk at WrestleMania, which you would never think. And I think it's cool to see this side of Roman Reigns, because we've had a roller coaster when it comes to Roman. People have hated him. People love him. People hate him again. And I think it takes a lot for a talent to be able to be that guy who can be so loved and so hated. And he's got that. He's got that Riz, man. I'm sorry. That's the word I'm going to use for Roman.
Speaking of Riz and people that are related to Riz, is Jay okay? Bro is crashing out online daily. Here's the way that I'll put this. It is very easy to look at someone responding to criticism and say they shouldn't pay attention to that when it's not you getting the criticism every day from everybody.
Right.
Gabby, you are a woman in pro wrestling, so I know that you get it. I get it. Everybody gets it. So it's very easy for everybody else to say, well, you should just completely ignore that when people lie and just hate on you.
Yeah. It's insane. I also don't think he's crashing out. I think it's very fair. Like, the shit he deals with, and by the way, since he won the Rumble last year, everybody was like, he sucks. He doesn't deserve it. He can't carry a title. He can't do a match by himself. He needs his brother, like, blah, blah. He's been dealing with hate and people trolling him like times 1,000, I think. And it comes with the territory. It comes with the job. I get it. So if he every once in a while wants to respond or come out a certain way, like, let him do whatever he wants to do. He still started a movement when it comes to the yeet that I don't think is ever going to die. It just is what it is. Even if he takes it to a serious level or character change, whatever, people are always going to yeet when they see Jey Uso. It just is what it is. But for people to be like, you really need to ignore it, or like, you know, he's doing this, like, you can't blame the guy, because it's been a rough road, I think, in what's happening. And I think he's in like a weird spot now with who he is, with the yeeting kind of thing. It's kind of put him in this weird spot where he's like still an uber babyface, but I almost kind of want to see him go do a 180 and kind of switch it up completely. But he's in like limbo right now, I feel like, Jey Uso, and we haven't seen like that side of him yet. I think there's going to be some changes for him this year. I think there kind of has to be.
New Lac City says, Gabby, met you at a TNA show in White Plains and you were super cool and personal. They would have been dumb to not bring you back. Oh, you mean like busted open? Those bitches.
Who?
I don't have my foot off your neck, LaGreca.
LaGreca won't even respond. He doesn't even want the criticism.
You mean call him right now? I'll call him on the phone right now.
What time is it? Oh yeah, he's probably done for the day. They're done almost 3 hours ago. What's he doing now?
That would be fun.
He's probably yelling about something, ranting about something God only knows. You know what I mean?
He actually, I hit him up because like he was name dropped by my agent, and I was like, before I hired my agent, and I was like, let me see if this guy is actually good. And Dave put in a good word, but now I'm questioning my decision.
Listen, do you know how many tweets I get? And I'm clearing this up on your show, Sean, so you're welcome.
Okay, sure.
How many tweets I get? Are they bringing you back? Busted open. Dave LaGreca, like blah, 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 blah. Listen, okay? I have not gotten the call, so I don't know. So stop tweeting me. Listen, the more you want it to happen, you got to tweet about it. You got to talk about it. Whatever you want to do, because they are an expanded show now. Dave is one of the hardest working human beings I've ever met in my entire life. He
really is.
He's insane. He's made literally an entire wrestling channel built by himself, and he has amazing people around him, like the other hosts, and everything is great. There's always room for expansion, but I don't have the call. You know, it's not my thing, and I don't even know if it's Dave's call at the end of the day either. But just we gotta stop, and don't blame Dave for me being gone, because it's not his fault, unless it was, and I don't know, and I'm just an asshole. But I don't think so.
Dave Koss says there should be a Fightful versus Busted Open traditional Survivor Series match. Well, I would love that because Denise would have to be like the special guest referee there.
Yeah,
but then I would bring you in as the surprise. Like you'd be our Roman that I call up and be like,
wow.
And then we go Zebros like that.
I could take them all. Tommy, I'll put him in my back pocket. Snap
go.
Bully in half. You know what I mean? Dave.
Yes.
Me and Dave would have a promo battle. Who would win that? He would be Punk and I'd be Roman, I think, in the promo battle.
Yeah. Ooh.
Don't you think?
Yeah.
I think, yeah. I mean, yeah, no, I don't know. It would be fun. I would win it for you, Sean. You're welcome.
I know you would.
It would be
New Lac City. Speaking of Busted Open, is there any truth to the Bryan Danielson coming back to WWE rumors? Saw some rumblings online, but could only see Bully Ray as the one who claimed this after Bree showed up at the Rumble. Sorry, Gabby, but Bully is usually wrong on these things. I don't think she gives a shit. But Sean, what's the percentage chance? I would say about 10% imminently because he was rage baiting on social media, and that was it. He wanted to rage bait, which
probably.
I wish old heads wouldn't do. I wish.
Who, Bubba? Bully?
Yes, I think he's a brilliant, knowledgeable dude. I don't think he needs to rage bait.
Yeah. It's like one of those things where people get mad, but he's also on a show where he can say whatever the fuck he wants. Of
course.
So if he wants to say it, you can't be like mad that he's going to say it because he's going to say whatever he wants. Yeah. He's also someone, and I'm, rage bait, like whatever. He is, and like, sometimes he does predict things that do happen, or he does come up with scenarios where I'm like, holy shit, that would be incredible if it does happen.
Yeah.
So as much as like those takes piss people off, he also has takes that are borderline brilliant, I have to say. And I've worked with
been around wrestling for 30 years. Yeah.
Yeah. Like he even like behind the scenes, sometimes he'll be like, Gabby, imagine they did this. And he'll tell it to me, and I'm like, oh my God, like I would pay money for that. So he could say if he wants to. Do I think it's going to happen? No, but we just saw Brie back, which was exciting.
I mean, better than a percentage chance. How about I put the betting odds at plus 5,000? That's what I do at MyBookie AG. And this weekend at MyBookie AG with the code FIGHTFUL, your boy is betting on the Seattle Seahawks, Gabby.
You fucking better. That's my boys.
I'm putting money on them. I'm gonna log in and make the bet while we are doing this ad read. I'm legitimately going to bet on it. They're going to have a bunch of prop odds on the game, on like the national anthem, all that good stuff. Go and enjoy yourself, guys. Baseball season right around the corner. We had pro wrestling odds that were so accurate that we put the two leading odds winners on our thumbnail for the Rumble, and people said, oh my God, you spoiled the Royal Rumble. No, I just took the betting odds from MyBookie, where you can bet on anything, anytime, anywhere. And it happened to be Liv. Happened to be Roman. But now we're going to make our predictions on this.
Okay.
What is the color of the first Gatorade that will be poured on the winning head coach? Will it be orange, which is the favorite, yellow or green, blue, purple, clear, or red/pink?
I already have my guess.
Okay.
I'm going yellow. It's the first one that popped into my mind.
Those are very close as like second odds, yellow/green. So if it's lemon lime or something like that, you can also do that. You got to be able to do that.
What do you think?
I'd probably go yellow-green as well, because especially if it's the Seahawks,
it's their colors.
It's their colors. So I feel like I got to go with that, right?
I agree.
They're also national anthem prop odds. Will it be over or under 126 seconds long?
Oh, over.
I think so too. And that is right now not the betting favorite. But what about the length of the word brave? Over 4.5 seconds or under? Are they going to hit that note? Who's even singing the national anthem?
I don't know. I was just going to ask you, because I know who's opening. I know who's obviously the halftime show.
Oh, it's Charlie Puth. That shit is going over.
That guy loves the limelight. It's going to be like 20 seconds long for the Brave. What are you talking about?
Over. That is an easy bet. I'm going to also make that bet right now. MyBookie AG. We greatly appreciate you guys. Get in your super chats, get in your humper chats. We're here for about 15 more minutes. We got Blue Eagles saying, latest on Seth Mania hopes. Who do Gunt and Oba face? I think Gunther faces Orton, legend killer versus career killer. I think Oba faces Brock. And here's my feeling on Seth, Gabby.
Ooh,
I think they are just bridging the gap until Seth is ready with this attacker thing. I think because they did the masked attacker before and swerved us, I think now they're going to make it be like, oh, somebody's pretending to be Seth, but it was actually Seth all along once he gets healthy.
Agreed. I actually agree. And I'm going to take it a step further because this is obviously building to Seth Braun. I think that Heyman knew that Seth was going to attack Braun because Heyman's with Seth and he's going to turn on Braun. And I think Braun's going to be, I think the whole vision's going to turn on Braun and it's going to be all about Seth when Seth comes back because it's going to make Braun an uber baby. Everyone's going to love him for that. And then we're all going to get behind him and we're going to see Seth against Braun Breaker, which I would love to see. But everybody knows it. And Braun's going to be all by himself. Because honestly, what it's proven, Seth being out and all these things, is Braun doesn't need anybody as much as you think he might.
I agree. It didn't make sense for him to join the Vision. Why? Because he got to hang out with Paul Heyman and Seth Rollins?
Right. I think it did in the very beginning because he was newer to the main roster and Heyman obviously was there with him and they were like, oh shit. But then Seth got hurt or whatever happened. And then we saw him kind of take charge. And now he is the leader. We've seen him on the mic. We've seen him cut promos. He doesn't need Paul talking for him. And he doesn't need Seth to be the muscle for him because he could do it himself. So I'm excited for what the future holds for Braun Breaker. But he's got to beat Seth because they're all trying to stand in his way now. He's a threat, which nobody likes.
We have two sort of related questions. Tony P says, thoughts on Michael Hayes' comments about Chelsea Green?
Ooh.
Also seems like she has some backstage support as well from people like Helms. Can truly understand why she'd be pissed about the comments. And then Shadow says, just wondering how you felt about Chelsea Green saying Michael Hayes putting a cap on her career. I know you're getting tired. Any AJ to AEW news? I'll answer that second part after. I'm a big Chelsea Green supporter. I've always, since Laurel Van Ness, I was like, she's got it. She is a performer. If you put a cap on someone and say, oh, well, she's not going to be Charlotte Flair, she'll make Charlotte Flair. I think that's just a very condescending thing to do, to just say this is somebody's limit.
Right. It's insane. I think it's actually insanity to say something like that. Chelsea Green is one of the most influential women on that roster, one of the most influential women in pro wrestling, period. I'm not even going to say in the WWE. The way she handles things with fans, the way she's every single place, everywhere, the way she makes 10 seconds on air feel like 2 hours because she gets the influence of whatever she's doing across the board. She's entertaining, she's hilarious, but she's also making other people look good when she's on screen with them. I think to say that, oh, there's a ceiling for her, puts a ceiling on her. I think that's exactly what you do by saying something like that. And I think she was fair in what she said, where she was like, you know, you think you know your role, but when you hear someone say it, it's fucked up and that pisses you off. And I hope the backlash that this has caused makes the WWE take a look at themselves and be like, oh no, people love her and they are obsessed with her and she can be that person. Because I think if you're already saying she can't, you're putting her in that box that she can't do it. But if you tell me right now, Chelsea Green against Jade Cargill as a WrestleMania main event, I'm not only paying money to watch that, I'm hoping Chelsea Green wins because Chelsea Green with that title on her, every single place is going to be epic. I think bring back Total Divas in line with Chelsea Green, let her lead the troops. There's nothing she can't do. And to say that about her is almost borderline offensive for girls like me that love her as much as we do and look up to her because she, out of a lot of people from her release, what she's done to completely change her life as a young girl watching pro wrestling, she's someone that people can look up to and should look up to because she makes a mountain out of a molehill. And I think Chelsea Green is phenomenal. And I think that's an absurd comment. And I hope she proves everybody wrong and WWE gives her the opportunity to do so.
I'm completely with you. Like, I think that she's great. And the Total Divas thing, like, I've mentioned this before. When I would teach like kickboxing 12, 13 years ago, all the women in the class would know who the Bella Twins were. They had no clue who The Undertaker was or Brock Lesnar. They knew who the Bella Twins were. And then like even years later, there were people who knew who fucking Marjo was because Maurice's mom, not not a lot of these wrestlers. Yeah, because of the show is like it does reach a different audience. There are gonna be people that know who Braun Strowman is because of his show that don't know who other wrestlers are. And Chelsea has shown her ability to adapt to anything. And I thought, honestly, all the lifelong wrestling people, Triple H, Road Dogg, Bruce Pritchard, Michael Hayes, came off very poorly on that show.
Unfortunately, I agree.
It seems like they were like, well, I don't know what to do. She can't beat Alexa. Why, dummy? It's fake.
Well, that's the thing is I'm like, if you say it now and you know this is being filmed, you know what's going out there, you're there because there are some people that have no opinions of their own and only follow the opinions of what they see. So it's like if you say that she's a star for you, she's someone on the roster, you say she can't do this or I don't think she can do that. Now people that don't know any better and don't watch the product, by the way, because I think that WWE Unreal hits on, like, I have friends that don't watch wrestling and watched Unreal because it was trending on Netflix. And they were like, oh, what's this Unreal thing? They don't watch Raw or SmackDown, but they watch Unreal for, like, the reality of it, right? And so they're watching. They've never watched an episode of anything, but they watch that and they're like, oh, so Chelsea Green can never be champion. Cool. And now that's their opinion because you said it, but they don't really know any better. So why would you put that out there to people, for people to consume and take it and make that, that's the box that you're putting her in. So now people that don't know any better are actually going to agree with you, because I think that's insane. And that's where it's like, I don't hate Unreal. I really don't. I actually kind of like it a little bit because I like reality stuff, but I like how it humanizes the wrestlers. I like seeing them deal with real life things, or what happens after a match when they're disappointed in themselves or something, because it is a job to them and they're human beings, which I think people forget sometimes.
Yeah.
I like that aspect of it, but if you could take all the stuff of them in creative talking about stuff, like I would watch it kind of probably more.
I thought it was hilarious to go between two episodes and have, well, Chelsea Green can't beat Alexa Bliss. And then you have a lifelong wrestling guy say, what if we have Pat McAfee beat Gunther?
Right.
It's like, come on, guys, what are we doing?
It's almost laughable because we follow the product. Some people that won't find that insane, but we're like, yeah, that's an insane thing. And I'm glad Chelsea said what she said too, because she is a company girl and she's incredible and she's well liked, but she also has to be like, stand up for yourself a little bit, because give yourself some credit for what you've built for yourself.
We have JM Melagrito. Also regarding AJ, the person who asked earlier, the latest I have on that was what we posted on Fightful Select, was that it was a major topic of conversation last Wednesday, but nobody knew. I'm sure like Matt Jackson and Nick Jackson know what AJ's going to do next. I'm sure that's filtered to Tony by now, but I haven't heard. But if they have the opportunity, they will make him an offer. He will come in.
Oh,
I mean, if he's willing to come in, he'll come in. Why is WWE not asking to air on AFN like WWE? I do not have a frame of reference for that. I believe you mean the Armed Forces Network or American Forces Network. I do not know. I'll work on that. Assuming Gunther retires Brock and adds him to his list, what young guy or non-retiree would you have finally stop the career killer? To me, this is always like a TBD, because this thing could go on for years, Gabby. You've got Sheamus, you got Ray, you've got so many people throughout the next number of years that are going to be wrapping up. That Gunther, I don't know that there's going to be an end in sight. But as things stand at this very moment, if you had to put a gun to my head and say, in 2 years, who would be the guy? I look at Keanu Carver on NXT and I'm like, oh my God, he looks unbelievable. So gun to my head, that would be a guy. But any thoughts?
It's hard because, like you said, I think it's going to go on for quite some time. So whoever does it, I think, needs to be established as like one of their next big stars. And the only person that like I am loving right now that's super young is Javon Evans, obviously. So like I would think of something like that because he's so beloved and like over in that sense, that he's the young guy right now that we kind of just established, that I would love to see kind of be the baby face to end it all for a guy like Gunther. But it's too hard to tell because it's so early on. It's going to be years before that happens, I think.
The other Mikey V says, crazy that Ciampa turned back the clock to Sinclair era ROH. Briscoe was an amazing choice for the first match. Collision looks like it's in good hands. They've definitely been like loading up to put like fresh talent on that show.
Yeah.
It is great to see Ciampa back and doing what he wants, and he left WWE on very good terms, it appears, Gabby.
Yeah. And that's how you do it. I think you bring him in, you want to establish who this guy is and kind of, the power behind him and why it was a big deal. I think they booked it completely correct. I thought it was a great match with Briscoe. And I think they made the right choice because now they're talking about it, especially on Collision, to have them talk about it for days following up about this new guy that's here. If people weren't familiar with him in WWE, now you will be familiar with him in AEW. So I think it was a right call, and I'm excited to see it because I'm a big Ciampa fan.
Speaking of his partner, we have Mr. Straightfire saying, is Johnny Gargano the biggest fumble when it comes to success in NXT than main roster? He was arguably the soul of that brand and never found any success as a single superstar. What went wrong, do you think? Well, I don't think he's the biggest fumble. Keith Lee is up there because he became like Bearcat. Samoa Joe, they put him back in NXT and then they made him an announcer.
Karrion
Kross, who I thought was great in like his backstage supporting role last year. I thought he was good, but they let him go. I think there's a lot more fumbles. What went wrong is Triple H was booking NXT when he wanted to book a counter program to be the opposite of what WWE is. Now he has whatever budget, whatever toys to play with that he wants. He has no restrictions. He doesn't have to make a show counter to what WWE is. Right. And Johnny's role is a bit different. But your thoughts, Gabby?
I think it's also, everyone likes to blame creative, like directly, but I can't really tell you, even when he was being used on the main roster, Gargano, he never got the same reaction from a lot of the other guys that he was out there with. So I think just because you're over in NXT, if they don't tell your story correctly or book you in those ways on the main roster, I think it shows from the reactions of the crowd. And I just don't think he was ever put in line to be like that guy, to reach his potential when it came to the main roster. And I think that kind of worked against him in that sense. Maybe it was the people he was surrounded with were just kind of bigger and more over and more of a reaction, but you kind of have to listen to the fans in that sense. I think people love him, but it's hard to watch the reactions and be like, oh, he's so over that he's going to be like Cody level or something like that. Cause it wouldn't make sense.
Joel says that was probably the best Roman promo since peak Bloodline. They went from people saying same old shit to being excited about their match in one promo exchange. I was among them because obviously like last year they had Seth involved and Seth won. So there is at least the element of the one-on-one match, but I was legitimately ready to just not see Roman Reigns in a world title match at WrestleMania. I would have been fine with it. And he sold me on one promo, Gabby. And now I don't know how that interest maintains over 10 Raws, of which most he won't be at, I would say. But how were you feeling going into the Rumble about Roman possibly getting a title match? And how are you feeling as we sit here Wednesday?
So it's interesting because when I did like my show, my picks and predictions for the Rumble, I picked both people that were going to win. And I picked other people that like I would have wanted to see win instead. Yeah. Because I thought negatively, I was like, we're not even going to see Roman on Raw because this is what they do. We'll have to wait till SmackDown or we won't hear anything. And I'm a big Roman fan, but like you had mentioned, it's like, we don't always see him, what kind of reaction are we going to get, whatever. And he completely proved me wrong with that promo on Raw because not only am I looking forward to his match against Punk, I want to see him beat Punk, which I thought I would never say because it's CM Punk. You want CM Punk to win on the biggest stage at WrestleMania, but it's like, no, I kind of want to see Roman win. I can't remember the last time I wanted to see Roman win in a match because, you always thought after that feud with like Cody, like where can we find that emotion for Roman again? Because it was so filled with their feud and what they had going on, but we couldn't see that again at WrestleMania. I know that was the rumor, but like we're kind of over Roman, Cody. We've moved on. It kind of is what it is. So how are they going to sell me on Roman Punk? And they not only did that, they did it like times 100. So I think that promo was incredible because not only am I sold, I want to see him win now. So I'm kind of happy he won the Rumble. I think the Rumble did what it was supposed to in the sense of kind of like showcasing the new people that we're going to be talking about this year, but then also putting it on someone like a Roman that's going to sell tickets for WrestleMania. So I don't hate it, but I'm hyped for it. I think that's going to be like the match of WrestleMania. Now, from just that promo alone, I haven't even seen anything else, and we have all this time until WrestleMania. They better not fumble it till WrestleMania, honestly. I don't even want to see him until WrestleMania, to be quite honest with you.
And they can do Cody Roman in like the twilight of their careers as well. Like, it'd be just as good. PDF says, Gabby, an insight on when Eddie wins the big one. You had Eddie on your show, I believe it was last month.
Eddie Kingston, that's my guy. I just saw him over the weekend, actually, for Outlaw Pro Wrestling, because, you know, he loves me so much. We're best friends.
Who doesn't?
All he does is curse at me. But listen, I love Eddie Kingston. I think everybody universally loves Eddie Kingston. And I had him on right before he had that match against Samoa Joe. And I really thought possibly they would put the title on him, make him champion. I don't know what they're waiting for because, like, why the hell not? I would love to see it. I think he would be the most entertaining champion, like, with his promos every week. He's just so real, which is something I like about him. Like, he's authentically the same person you see on TV when you meet him. And that's not everybody. So I have no insight on it. You would have more insight than me. I just know what I want to see happen, and I think they should do it.
I wouldn't expect it soon, but I hope it does happen one day.
Yeah.
We've got a couple more before we wrap up. C. Delgado says, with all the additions, is AEW adding more TV time? I sure as fuck hope not. But I can only tolerate so much, guys.
It's a lot, guys.
Like, y'all are wanting me to go crazy here. It's going to help restock ROH. They're just every so often you got to add new talent, freshen things up, cycle people in, cycle people out. I don't think that they're adding new, but Mr. Straightfire says, don't know if this was brought up, but why is Gunther's gimmick called the career killer? They did it before AJ's match when Goldberg and Cena were having their last match anyway. Well, I mean, Goldberg was also competing for the world championship there. And once you end one career, it makes a lot of sense. Right. Then Gunther just, made it his gimmick. I like it. If you got people that are going to wrap up their careers, go ahead and make somebody off of it, I feel like.
Yeah, and I think it's an authentic way to keep him as this monster without him being in the title picture all the time. Because how are you going to make somebody be this guy who's doing all these important things or having these big matches without putting a title or a championship belt on it? And he's doing that without even needing to be in that title picture whatsoever. So I think that's kind of a cool aspect of it too, because keep it away from that and just make that his like shtick. I think it's kind of awesome.
Gabby, this has been your first Hump experience. Please tell the wonderful people where they can follow you, support you, and become a Gabby is
AFer.
AFer.
Yeah, my podcast, Gabby AF. You can listen to it everywhere you get your podcast, Spotify, Apple, all those good things. But I also have a YouTube where I have exclusive videos when I do shows like Outlaw or TNA. I do a lot of backstage stuff. So if you want to go follow that and watch my full interviews and full episodes, it's youtube.com/@GabbyAFshow. And then follow me on everything at Gab LaSpisa. You'll see it at the bottom, GabLaSpisa on Instagram, on Twitter, and at Gabby AF Show on Instagram as well, because, we do all the
We
fun.
will link in the description below. Gabby, it has been lovely to have you here today.
It's been lovely. It's lovelier than I thought it would be, Sean.
Is this our first show together ever?
Yes, it is.
Oh, my gosh.
If people want to see more, they're going to have to say something to you, because you got more of that pull than I do. You know what I mean?
Maybe, I guess. I do have Shaquille Majuri on next week. The following week, guys, I'll have Brian Zane on, but it will be on a Tuesday because I'll be traveling that Wednesday. Where are you geographically?
I'm in Hoboken, New Jersey.
Oh, I'll be not far from you. I'll be in the Northeast. Again, I got snowed in 2 weeks ago.
I know. You told me, and you didn't even tell me you were here, until you were already leaving.
Listen, quiet meetings that I had to facilitate while I was there. Can't imagine what wrestling people and things are in the Northeast as well. But by God, I was stuck there I'll tell you my favorite experience in New York. I go to this pizza place, and it's some of the best pizza I ever had. But it didn't have a name on it. It just had a big like sign that said pizza. And I go, hey, what's this place called? And the guy goes, pizza. And I'm like, all right.
New York thing.
I love it. It was incredible. But please go follow Gabby. Support what she's doing. She has great guests on all the time. Just looking down the list, Mila Moore, Chelsea Green, Eddie Kingston of late, Deanna Perrazzo. You had Cody Rhodes. Didn't you all did that at a pizza place, didn't you?
We did it in Brooklyn, New York, at a pizzeria.
It had an actual name. It was Crispy's.
Crispy, yeah. But there's a bunch of Crispies. There's also a Crispy in Jersey City, which is like right next to me. So it's right here. So it's a few minutes for me. So
one
I'm
of
trying to do more
things,
pizza interviews, I think. Pizza just makes people happy.
It does. It makes me happy. Like I'm trying to take care of myself a little bit better, but wherever I go, I find a New York style pizza. Like that's my little travel tradition.
The best.
Yes,
it's on Chicago pizza.
I'm spoiled though, because 3 miles from my house, we have a place called Goodfellas that does incredible New York style pizza. It's the one that Dave Portnoy rated a 0 because he got booted from.
Oh my God, I see that clip all the time. Yeah, that's so funny. But it's good.
Oh, it's incredible. He came back and gave it a 7. But this place called Pizza, maybe the best I've ever had. Maybe the best I've ever had.
I love it. You gotta listen. If I could eat pizza every single day, I would. But you know, we don't live in that world. I kind of have to be a little bit healthy.
That's why Busted Open had to make Bully Ray the looks on the show. You know what I mean? That's why you got shit canned.
I didn't get fired. I got laid off. There's a difference. People are so insane, by the way. Everyone's like, they fired her.
She had no clue that I was ever bringing up Busted Open, by the way. But like, sorry.
Listen, they have my number. If they want me back.
I never published the video of them physically removing you from the studio and throwing like your box of stuff out, and you were like on the ground, and they were like throwing your stuff. Yeah, crying.
I cried. My laptop was disabled the next day at 8 o'clock in the morning.
Oh my God.
On the phone.
LaGreca,
you son of a bitch.
LaGreca. Gabby, it has been wonderful to have you. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me. This was a lot of fun. We'll have to hump a different time.
Of course.